Um, I got, I just got it. On Google Drive, I don't know if you have access to the Google Drive. I sent you an email with the link.
Okay, excellent.
Because my PPR test results are screenshotted.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
put them and numbered them and I put them so that you could see the ones that I got wrong.
Right.
And that way it was easier to review it, I thought, when we had this meeting. So, but okay, so are you able to go into like I sent you a link in the email that
Okay, okay. So
maybe
let
a
me go to the
couple weeks, I mean, not, it was earlier this week. It was on Sunday night, I want to say, where you can look for,
oh my God, I just have too many.
yeah, it was Kupkowski, Kate, or yeah,
Wait, let's do
Julae,
the last one.
Yeah, Kup,
KUP. How do you
Ko.
pronounce it?
It's like a cup with
Uh-huh.
a K, a cow with a
Uh-huh.
K, and then ski. So Kupkowski.
Kupkowski. That's so cool. And I love the way you just phonetically, help to like that is excellent. I love it.
Yeah, I even have to
Kupkowski.
dry it. So I draw it out. So Kup, like a cup, but
Uh-huh.
with a K. And so I think you
It's
put
not
K,
K-A,
yeah,
K-U-P. Cup.
Kup, Kow, like a cow, and then Ski. So you want to see it?
Kowski.
Correct. Yeah, that's it.
Kowski. Cool.
Yeah.
And
Um,
where did that? Is it this one?
I think
Monday.
the Sunday, go to
Okay.
Sunday, and then there's a
Right
link right
here.
there that I put my drive. And then
Perfect.
okay, the PPR EC, the top one is a folder right there. I shared, so like we can go on to the same questions that, so
Oh,
I numbered them.
excellent. Oh my goodness. You're going to go in and slay this exam. And I'm so glad. The thing is that it's so terrible, the anxiety beforehand, but you're going to do so well. I want for you to go in there clear-minded. Like you have put so much preparation into this. You're going to kick cup house ass. you know,
I
like,
hope so.
no,
And
you
that's the
are.
thing, it's the day before, and I feel like whatever life has taught me up until this point, it is what it is, and I'm gonna, but the thing is the trickiness of it. So I think you clicked on question 90, but if you go back to the questions, they're
Okay.
numbered all the way, it's 1 through 90. So I was on like number 6.
Okay.
Question 6 is what I have. So I have my nifty binder that
Yes,
I
I
can
love it. It's
kind of show you
amazing.
what I did. This is like I have a couple stickers in here too that are like positive stickers. A counselor just gave me this. I can and I will.
I love it.
So,
I have it. Oh my goodness, you're not going to believe it, but I literally have that sticker on an armoire that is heading into my bathroom. And it says, I can and I will. I have it, the same sticker.
that's awesome. That's
Yes.
what a coincidence. So
I'm gonna try to show it to you because I just feel like that is, a sign of some sort. So I'm gonna just really
for
quickly
sure.
do this.
Um,
Can you see?
oh, you do. Oh my
I
gosh.
literally do.
That's awesome.
You said I can and I will, and I looked up and I said, oh, I can and I will.
It's a good day. It's a good
It
day
is a
to
good
see
day.
those like synchronicities
There you
or
go.
yeah. So you tend to, in all your videos, you tend to go over this worksheet that has already been out of print, but it really does lay out the things that we like kind of to focus on. So I highlighted a lot of that. So that's like up in front with a plastic,
Yeah, I love those. The sheet
because
protectors.
yeah, the sheet protector. And then I went through all of your all the I guess
Standards, yeah.
standards and objectives and the notes that I take from your videos and highlight those into here. And then so my second tab is more like the other types of worksheets and stuff that you guys like. I don't know if you're able to see because it's
Yeah,
like
I know. I can totally see it. I can see it.
okay, yes. So things that you have under that tab and also like the YouTube video, I mean the slides, the PowerPoint
Yeah.
slides. I did everything in color because I hadn't printed out of my printer in a long time. And so at home. And so then of course
My favorite.
and then I've got this other one, and which are these strategies that seem pretty cool. There was one that I saw that was in one of the practice questions that I found. I can't remember what the word was. Concept attainment. I think it was anticipation guide.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
there's an example in one of the questions that was anticipation guide. I was like, oh, I remember seeing that in this book. And then these were the sample questions that you had posted up along with, you did a video also with some of these. And then of course the actual
Annual.
practice manual. And then, so all the practice manual stuff that you pointed out, of course, I ended up, making my markings on here with, I think you went through a lot of these questions, so I did
Yeah.
that. And then this is my actual results from the practice test, that the $10 practice test.
Right.
And then like I use this as a guide to be like, okay, well, which questions did I get wrong? So then I put them, I numbered them and like put little tab things on them and was like, okay, well, I got number 2 wrong. And then based on my notes that I had written when I was taking the actual test, because in the test, I won't be able to circle the words like I am on here, but
Right.
so I'm gonna have that scratch sheet. So I had to like try and practice myself, like, okay, what are the keywords? What is the
Right.
goal? Like get myself into the practice routine of doing what you said.
Exactly. And you
Because
building right now, you're building muscle memory. So now your brain is going to do both. It's going to like circle the word in your brain so that you can write it on the piece of paper. Excellent
yeah,
job. It's so
it's
good.
so, yeah, it was so I guess now by going over the review, and then Teacher Builder had these things from earlier, which is the chapters of, with all the other information, which I wanted to ask, which I do have a couple of questions where I'll go over. Let me get back to my being able to see. But yeah, that was the book that this is like my Bible for
It
now.
really
And
is a Bible, and it would bring joy to like literally everyone that had it. It's so detailed, your notes, everything. Just I feel like you're gonna do so well. You just need to relax, believe, and be confident in the work that you've done because it's so much.
well,
And
the thing
and
is,
also don't put the limitations of our real world
yeah.
anywhere near the edges of this exam because this is Utopia ISD and Utopia High School, Utopia Middle School, and Utopia Elementary, where everything theoretically goes as it should.
Yes, which is, there's a question that I had. There was one, I know I'm gonna like bounce around, but there was one that was specific to technology, and it was like the copyright, like what was the best way to let me go to that question just since
Okay.
we're like on here. And then I'll go back to okay, it was technology. Let me see if it was question 12. Okay, it was question 12. So based on what you said about like experience, this is a great example of, it says middle school science students are creating a multimedia presentation about different types of soil. The students are required to include pictures of various types of soil and an explanation of the attributes of each soil type. Which of the following best ensures that students can include pictures in the presentation without breaking copyright laws? So I was told in college, like I was told in college, like for everything that we put in our presentations, I need to source it. I need to cite it.
Right.
And so that's including pictures. But with high school, since high schools, or you can get away with not having to cite everything that, like if it's pictures, because you can, but what I have, so I teach professional communications, and we have, our final project is a presentation called Teach Your Classmates. And the students, we go to the library, they pick a nonfiction book of their choice, biography or nonfiction of any, let's say they want to do it on butterflies. So I have them actually cite the book because they're using the content from the book to put
Right.
into their presentation, because my main point is grading them on how they present it. So what I was doing was saying, well, you can get pictures from online to make your presentation slides appealing to your audience instead of just putting words up on the screen.
Right.
So, and the words that they're getting from the book, which that we cited, but I didn't have them go through having to cite every picture. So that was my real world experience. And
Right.
putting question 12, I got the question wrong because I answered having students copy pictures from websites and reference the sources within the presentation. But the correct answer is having students use photographs that they took with a digital camera. And I'm like, well, not every teacher has a digital camera. So in a way,
Right, exactly. Limitations. So in theory, you could send home a digital camera with everyone and they could take different pictures of soil, because we're trying to teach them that if you didn't take uh and honestly, that's how I taught it. I taught English language arts and I taught high school and I even did concurrent enrollment. So of course you can utilize pictures, and they do it
yeah.
in newspapers all the time. Every day we see it cited there. It's an extreme example, but the most appropriate way to show them, there is no copyright infringement at all in your pictures, because you took this yourself, and it's more like engaging, I guess. But we know that that's not a feasible activity. Theoretically, yes, it's the best way. Have them take their own pictures instead of just getting them, and they're not, copyright infringement. Can have a discussion about that. But it's not copyright infringement when you use somebody's picture and you cite it appropriately, and that's
Right.
that's what we teach in English language arts. So technically it's not wrong, and that's how they get you in these things. It's like there's two correct answers. One is better than the other based on the theoretical knowledge in theory and the specific words that they said.
Yeah, which I felt like, okay, wait, I've been doing that. So
No,
I
you're not
couldn't,
doing anything wrong. That is the correct way of doing it. Yes, that is correct. But
um,
that's a
okay.
tricky question. Like if I ever heard one.
Yeah, I got that one totally wrong. Okay,
I mean,
going
I
back.
might have gotten that one wrong and then had to go back and say, why did I get this wrong? What the heck is going
Yeah, and
on?
I guess because it's saying the correct answer is C, because copyright permission is not needed. Since the students are taking the pictures themselves, they have the right to include the pictures in their
Right.
presentation. So, but yeah, anyhow, okay, so going on to ones that I was having, I guess, trouble with is because you have, and I have the ethics, the copy of the ethics right behind the standards, the educator's code of ethics, but
Right.
it has, I don't know, it's not really like, some of it seems self-explanatory, but then when it goes to questions that are like, okay, I guess I didn't catch this one, which is on 6, where it's saying I answered D. And so I highlighted the reason that D is incorrect, because the law states the certified professional who suspects abuse or neglect may not delegate or rely on another person to make the report. So I didn't realize
Right.
that that's what was canceling that out versus the 48 hours. I thought it was supposed to be 24 hours, like right away, but it's 48
Yeah,
hours.
I always say, and I think I've said this in my videos, like I feel like 48 hours is too long. Like I have reported for students on their behalf, and I even fostered a student. She came to live with me and my children, because there's a loophole where you can, teachers get, like, if you're the teacher of record, you're the parentis in local, like you are the parent in location is what it means in Latin, and it's in everybody's contract. We are literally their parent in location, as the law states. So there's like a loophole, and I fostered a student and she was very sweet and we enjoyed our time with her. But I feel like 24 hours is a ridiculous amount of time to wait. If you at all suspect, because people don't go around fake suspecting. Like if you
Right.
feel like there's something, and if you are wrong, nothing will happen to the parents. And there are, you know, professionals that are looking into it. So we have to do our due diligence. It's also a reason why I'm fearful of this parent choice business, because some parents will get to say, I'm going to homeschool my kids. Let's say I have 8 kids. It's parent choice. Under the voucher system, however much the district would normally get for my child, I could say I'm going to keep them at home, and the state is now going to pay me $20,000 a year so that I homeschool my kids. And they're just abusing them. Like, we are the literal last line of defense for child abuse reporting. Like, that is the bulk of it. That and pediatricians. How often does a child see their pediatrician? Not very often. How often do they see their teachers? Every day.
Right.
So there's so many reasons why
We can
the
see the
voucher system.
change. We can see the change, like when, like if something didn't happen, you can just see that their persona is just off
Exactly. I've
because we
even
see
had
them every
kids where they
day.
got into like or like their parents got mad at them before they got off the car, and it like ruined their whole freaking morning. And it might not have been anything big. It might not have been no big deal, and the parent was just having a bad day and didn't realize this is a child, because parents don't know what we know as teachers, and the way we speak to them affects them, the way that we interact with other people is being watched and monitored and will be emulated if they look up to us. And so some parents don't know that. And so often, you know, we have to, it's hard, you know, and I know parents have it difficult too. Like, a lot of parents are part of the working poor, you know, doing their absolute best. And it's just, teachers need to be paid more. 100,000 is my, I'm going to run for governor of the state, you
But
know.
it's even how to even answer this question
Right.
is where I'm stumped, because it's like I thought I'm supposed to tell a school administrator, which I would. That would have been the first thing that I did before I go to report, so that I can make sure, okay, what's the right process? Because I thought there's like a chain of command in a way, but
So
because
no,
this is report, like I'm so we have campus security and we have campus police. So like
right.
I would go to report to the campus police, or is that because it says to law enforcement? So would that be my proper step?
So if you have a local police or like if you have district police, then I would
Yes,
certainly report it to the
them
district
first.
police officer. But I would to be honest with you, the best way to go, because that law enforcement officer can decide not to like report it, I would report it to Family Protective Services
Okay. Okay.
and tell them both. Say, listen, I want you to, you know, I'm gonna report, talk to them and then report it. But yeah, 48 hours, it seems like a really long time for me. So that's why this is tricky, because it logically or sensibly, you feel like, why would I sit on it for 48 hours? I don't know
Yeah.
if you've ever seen the documentary on Netflix. It's like one of those, but it's
I'm with my pen. Let me write that one down.
yeah, oh my goodness. You need to like brace yourself, but it's about, oh my God, I can't even tell you. Anyway, it's like the life of Gabriel Hernandez, little boy who the system failed him and he ended up dying as a result of horrific child abuse. But his teacher tried so hard and did everything, and she was so devastated over it. I mean, she still, even when they video, you know, when she describes it afterwards, you see she feels like she failed him and she did everything right, everything. So I would certainly, if you are going to report someone and you feel like it, I would just do both, you know, and I wouldn't wait 48 hours. I would, you know, 24 hours is even a lot. As soon as you tell me or I suspect it and I have a little bit of free time, that's what I'm going to do. If and I've never suspected it. I had a student come to me and say, I'm afraid to go home and break down. You know, I didn't even pick up on it. It was an
Yeah.
outcry, and they were in high school, but it certainly, if you suspect it, we know our kids, you know. Um, but we know our kids, and so being astute, those that don't pay attention to their student, they're not going to catch those you know,
Yeah. I
bruises and those wearing long sleeves when it's really hot outside and everyone else is, you know. and not questioning or taking the time to like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, to kind of like ask even further
Yeah, we
difficulty.
are the parentis in is it loci or loco? I think it's loci, but it means parent in location, and that's what we all are. And so it's our job to care. Um, and so many teachers do. I mean, I could see how much you care for your students, and I just love it. I'm, my students are all grown, and having babies now, but man, I'm so proud of the things that they're doing.
With that being said, along that question 22,
Let's do it. Yeah, I was going back to the thing. Question
and we
20.
have about I have about 15 more minutes before the bell
Sure. Okay,
rings.
let's try to this one.
22,
Yeah,
question
22.
22. Is this is another one of those, and I'm like, well,
Sorry, I don't know why it's doing that. It's like being really
it's
like,
the energy, my nerves, because tomorrow's the test. It's
oh
just
my
like
goodness, you've got this. My God, what is going on? It's like my iMac is being really okay. Oh, okay, okay. We'll just right here. We'll just keep it at this level because I'm got this. Okay, so a father complained to Mr. Adair, a fifth grade teacher. So right, I'm like fifth grade about an
right.
incident that occurred between his son and another fifth grade teacher. That's right.
Treated his son unfairly to maintain the best her professionalism in
Professionalism
the
in the
situation.
situation. Okay, so we have a father complained to Mrs. Adair, fifth grade teacher, about an incident that occurred between his son and another fifth grade teacher, Miss Riley. The father feels Miss Riley has treated his son unfairly. To best maintain her professionalism in the situation, Miss Adair should, and okay. See,
So
and
it's kind of giving like I'm like, okay, well, I would try to calm the parent because that seems like the most when with all these notes here to answer in the most positive way. And so I thought calm the parent and report the complaint about Mr. like to the principal, but then it would be putting me in drama. So then I'm supposed to
right.
suggest, like, let's say I'm Miss Adair, then I'm supposed to suggest a conference between the student, the parent, and Miss Riley. But then when we have conferences here, most of the time the student isn't involved in the conference. It's about the student, but the student isn't in it. So then I didn't think, well, let me suggest that. So here's where my real world is coming into this question. My
Right.
reality is coming into this question.
Exactly. No. So and theoretically and also the question is asking about her professionalism in the situation, and we're educators, we're teachers. So
One
in
second. I
yeah.
have let me get the thank you so much. Sorry, it's Wednesday. Report cards are they just dropped off my report cards at my students, so I
Oh,
gotta give them
awesome.
today. Okay, I'm sorry. Go. You were
No, not
saying
at all. So to maintain her professionalism in the situation and give Mrs. Riley an opportunity, like maybe she didn't even realize that she had been unfair, and some people, that happens. And so to we want for them to have open communication, so to suggest that the student be there because it was the student interaction, between them, so that the student can be there, and that way you give the teacher an ability to, and so the parent after this point, if they don't like what Miss Riley has to say, Miss Riley might say, no, I told your son that he needed to get his butt inside the classroom and I stand by it, and so they could be okay, I'm going to take it to the principal, because the parent have now spoken to Miss Riley. But the reason A is so wrong, if you read it, is state her opinion. So like Miss Adair's opinion is neither here nor there, and she wasn't even there. So
right,
that makes it absolutely wrong, and you have to be careful because there are going to be certain keywords and phrases and answer choices that just make them wrong, because
right.
to maintain your professionalism, you certainly are not going to be stating your opinion and being like, what, Miss Riley is really grumpy. I have noticed that about her. Like, you didn't want to say that, and then
Right.
calm
That's
the
true.
parents.
That's
uh
true.
so to suggest because you're going to be professional and assume that Miss Riley probably made a mistake and needs a chance to rectify it with the parent and the student, because you want, if the student was upset by it, then you would want to rectify it. You wouldn't want that to be, I certainly wouldn't. Like if I hurt a student's feelings, I don't want that at all. Like in between us, like I'm going to try to rectify it. So B is the best answer.
Okay.
Theoretically, and I know some districts don't allow students in, or most conferences don't even involve them because it's mostly about the student's behavior. But this is about Miss Riley's behavior towards the student that made them feel uncomfortable.
Okay, okay. That question left me stumped. And you say you advise us like, would you bet $5 that that answer is on that answer?
Yeah,
And if
absolutely.
if not, then and I did think about the opinion. I'm like, well, then what is her opinion? But
Yeah.
I felt like the parent, it really threw, calm the
Yeah,
parent.
absolutely. Those
I don't
were
know.
because you would want to calm, you would calm the parent. You would calm the parent and then suggest this. You would say, "Oh, I'm so sorry that happened, or that he, felt uncomfortable. I would suggest that you and Bobby and Miss Riley get together and have a conference about it, because I know she's going to want to talk to you about it," or something like that. Like
Yeah, for sure. Okay, that was the other ones
yeah,
that I learned were, sorry, okay, I'm on 10 minutes now, so let me see. There
so
was like where when it says like content specific vocabulary, education specific terminology,
right.
content specific essay, what do I really well, I guess it has here. I have here question 1 and question 4 that have like those in there, but I didn't get those wrong. I just,
Question one.
let's see, because question 1, I didn't get that one wrong, but like it says, limiting the use of education
Oh,
specific terminology. That one I got,
hold
but
on, wait. I think I have the wrong one. Is this not
4,
question one?
where's question 4? For instance, of what to do. I think it's because I saw education specific. Did it come out in there?
This
Question
one
1.
says content specific. This I went to
Oh yeah, that one's content specific essay. So when I see those particularly where it's like content specific vocabulary, what did it say? Content specific vocabulary, or
academic specific.
yeah, what am I, why is it saying content specific? Wouldn't it be just specific? Like, isn't it just
So a
um,
content specific essay would be like, I'm going to do a cause and effect essay. I'm going to write a cause and effect essay. It's particular, like essays are just writing, but to be content specific in terms of what we teach them academically, we teach them different text types in English language arts. So how to a fiction piece, prose, poetry. There are different types of content specific texts within English language arts. And so you would want to show them, like, for instance, if you're going to do a persuasive essay or you're writing cause and effect, you don't want a lot of opinions in your essay. You want to show facts from the different sources, right? That is something
right?
that you would do and that you wouldn't do. And it's specific to that type of essay. So content specific, think like content like TEKS related, specifically related to the type of instruction that's needed.
Because it had like for the ELLs, I can't find the question right now, but it's something with the EL, like it'll be like content specific vocabulary. Where
Right,
it's like,
content specific
so
vocabulary for anybody, but especially our ELLs. Any content specific vocabulary must be pre-taught before the lesson. You have to pre-teach the vocabulary. You cannot have a lesson and just start talking about mitosis with
they're gonna be
ELLs. You
like,
can't even do that with native English speakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is
yeah,
best, ELL practices are best practices for everyone in the real world. But when they say content specific anything, you know that it must be defined. And in a way, this sort of is defining it for them, showing
Right.
them examples of what to do and what not to do. Therefore, defining the parameters of this specific essay. So with content specific, academic specific vocabulary, best practice, use visuals, pre-teach, and for our ELLs, pre-teach even social language. You know, if it's necessary for the comprehension of the lesson, then you certainly want to take time, you know, even during your anticipation guide. That's where you can put some of your vocabulary. I always think of anticipation guides kind of like the
So
trailer to a
anticipation.
movie, you know, the trailer
Yeah.
to a movie where you're kind of
Yeah.
figuring out like a little bit, I know who the characters are, what's kind of going to happen, and now I want to get into it. So that's
That's
what
a
an
good one.
anticipation guide should do, but it should also provide them with resources to help with comprehension. And by and large, it's like they need language, right? They need to understand what they're going to be reading and talking about. And so providing visuals, providing them examples, making connections to prior knowledge or real world things, always best practice for
Oh,
anything content specific.
okay. That I kept seeing that in like content specific, but it had different, whether it was
Oh, my computer was lagging.
one is question 33.
Okay.
Um, like I realized after reading the um the correct the answer description on the bottom, like I had chose D, and I realized now it was the words extrinsic and intrinsic motivators. So intrinsic
Exactly.
motivators versus extrinsic, and realizing that A was a verbal motivator versus encouraging them, the extra, I don't know, that question, it took me the answer to dissect it, because it doesn't really tell you in the question what to dissect. So
Exactly.
you're
It's a,
having to go through your answer choices.
right, exactly. So there's not a lot to work with as far as finding out what they're looking for. And which of the following strategies employed by a middle school teacher best speaks high expectations to the students. So by having high expectations, that means she wants them all to succeed. That's the highest expectation. Everyone in this class can do it. Everyone can succeed, period. Every single one of you. And so the reason A is better, you would do both. You would do both of these. Like, and that's always going to be the case with these questions, right? That you could do both, but this is not going to do as much. This communicating and that consistency is, you know, a key word in this answer choice, that like anything that you do consistently communication wise, preparing them or supporting them to succeed, that is going to be the highest level of expectation. So she is communicating, giving them the skills and the support necessary in order for them to reach the high expectations. And so that is her best conveying it. Like, I know you can do it. Let's do these things. These are the skills you have to do. Let's try it this way. And let maybe do your strategies. Remember to use your strategies. So communicating to them consistently, supporting the things necessary, illustrates in a physical way, and not just talking about how, because you can encourage it, but you need to offer the supports and skills in a way like what you are doing, practicing dissecting the questions on a piece of paper. That is amazing, pants. And now I'm gonna start telling my students to do that. And it does take a little bit more work. It takes, you put a lot of work into your preparation. It does take a little bit more work, but in order for them to succeed, like I know they can with some of these very challenging, difficult exams, because the PPR is hard and many of the content area exams are ridiculously hard. But I'm going to utilize this new skill with them because I believe they all can succeed. So do you see the difference between this
Yeah,
is sort of
now,
like an application, a really like setting them up for success is the
yeah.
best message.
it has more weight in it to succeed than the
Yeah.
last one. Because I was thinking the last one in some of the examples I saw, like on some, I don't know, about extrinsic is like giving them like gifting them or a sticker or a
Right.
pizza party or whatever, like extrinsic motivators, but they don't lead to like this support and long consistently, like a consistent, because
Right. And so, but communicating consistently the skills and supports. I'll give you an example. And this is why like effective feedback is a particular thing. It's not just me saying, "Hey, good job." It's me saying, "I saw how you were struggling with that problem, with that second part, and you kept at it. And then I saw you double check and you didn't change signs. And you explain to them the skill, you give them the positive reinforcement in like a building up of their skills, highlighting what they did wrong, supporting if necessary in their weaknesses for them to succeed. And so that for them is a better I mean, it is a better reflection. Those intrinsic, even though they're important, like good job every so often, and they need them for confidence, the more explicit your feedback is to them, and by the feedback, I mean also compliments, but particularly complimenting them on like doing a good skill or continuing on when something was difficult. So because those are the skills necessary to succeed, right? Not giving up when things are difficult.
yeah. So
You have to
thank
go.
you.
I know.
The
Go
bell
back to
rang.
teaching. I know. I know. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you,
Yeah.
like from the bottom of my heart, as it coming to the final hours, and I take it at 2:30 tomorrow, and I just want to thank you for all that you've accomplished and been able to be who you are today, to send me this information and others that you're helping. I'm really glad with Teacher Builder to have you and build, like have the resources available, because we have such like different scheduling, and like to be there
Yeah.
every, it's like go to class every, Wednesday in the evening, and the fact that you make it adaptable for us to still get the information. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful. And we'll see how I do. I'll let you
You're gonna
know.
do fine. You believe in yourself. I believe in you. I believe in you. I've seen the work that you put in, and
And I will.
you can and you absolutely will. Yes. So I'm gonna say a little prayer for you tomorrow at 2:30, and all of the good vibes. I know you're gonna do well. Make sure you carefully read those answer choices too, because remember, if you get down between 1 and 2, look at the words, carefully analyze the answer choices. Like, what are they really saying? Which one of these theoretically matches better with the goal? And good luck, and you're gonna do awesome. Slay it. I know it's gonna happen.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll let you know how it goes afterwards. So,
Yes, ma'am. Please
okay.
do. Bye bye.
Okay.
Have a beautiful rest of your
Bye.
day. Bye bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye bye.